Welcome to the SAU Report.
Today we have Whitney Black as our guest. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a Friday.
Oh, yes. She is your senior marketing major, right? Okay, so what brought you to the field of marketing?
Well, when I first got here, I remember I started out as, it was kind of a theater / HKR major. There was a little stage I was going in. I was in a lot of helping out with the theater production, and I ended up getting a scholarship for it, and I kind of wanted to change into theater. Then I realized it wasn't for me, so I kind of stuck with coaching and teaching, and then I didn't realize it was for me again, so I stuck with marketing, so I figured I might as well get paid to talk, so why not?
So what kind of advice would you give to new SAU students who are kind of unsure about what major they should venture into, you know?
Don't pick a major just right off the bat. No matter whatever anybody chooses, whatever major, you will always have to go through the same basic stuff. You'll have up to 2 years of stuff, if just however many hours you choose to take during the semester. So you might as well relax, get your ideas, keep your options available,
Just
get
play the field, kind of.
input from different people that are mostly share the same type of qualities that you do. That way you'll just feel more like you're using your resources a little bit more, and also just be able to take some risks. Take a class that you're actually interested in taking in. Don't take all the boring ones or ones that you think you might need to take for your one particular major. Just don't narrow, just keep an open mind about it. And then later on when you realize it, get with an advisor. Once you reach your junior level, you'll be able to get one of those. And so by that time you should. If not, I know I still did and I was still changing, but then that way that you'll be able to have a better outlook on how you might want to do your future.
Okay, so what are you involved in here at SAU?
Some of the things I'm involved in, or my whole list, it kind of got larger throughout the semesters. Just recently, I was selected to be a part of the President's Ambassadors. I'm a historian for them. I'm also involved with Phi Mu fraternity here. I'm the membership director, as well as the stability chair for the housing staff, where I'm also the CA in the village this semester. I'm also involved in helping out with the Business Student Advisory Council, along with the Committee for Scholarship and Student Financial Aid. I also help out with a member of Residential College, and I help out with SIFE, Students in Free Enterprise. And also, when I still have time, I try to stay in shape. Or when I do have time available, not from working any hours in any of the offices for any of my other organizations, I play intramural sports, 2 of them, and I help out with BAM orientation as a leader and for Leadership Academy.
So you have a full plate.
Just a tad. Just a tad.
You're a busy girl.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't have to. I have a scholarship, so I don't have to have an outside job.
Right.
So I feel very fortunate enough like that, so I don't have to stress about student loans or anything like that. And so I work for it. That's what part of being a President's Ambassador is as well here, and being a CA. Part of my scholarship, I have to devote office hours for it as well, and so that's my job. And so anytime I ever wanted to go fill in, stay back home when I decide to visit, that's my money. So I don't have to spend it on student loans. So it's a lot less stressful. So.
Oh, okay. So are you involved in a sorority of any?
It was Phi Mu fraternity. There I'm in membership director for it, so I'm over recruitment. We'll also have formal recruitment in the spring, and we just finished informal recruitment this semester, so it went really well.
That's good. Recently, Phi Mu had a information table set up for breast cancer awareness. Did you have a lot of students who wanted more information about breast cancer awareness? Did you have a lot of?
Well, we did. October is our month where we have our philanthropy day for our national organization, and so this past Monday, we actually set up a table in the Reynolds Center, and we decided to pass out Yoplait yogurts. And the only thing was, though, it was free, but we wanted to keep the pink lids, and so for every pink lid that we got, we were able to donate money to the Breast Cancer Foundation. So
how
that was
creative.
nice. So I enjoyed it.
Nice.
I got free yogurt too, and so
I did get free yogurt also.
And so we ended up getting also as well. I know last time I checked, I don't know the exact total, but closer to the end of the day, within 2 hours of it, I know we reached around an additional $50 in cash donations. So
wow.
in addition to just the lid, so it turned out really well.
That's really good.
So recently you were queened, homecoming queen of SAU. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me glow. It's really neat. It was really neat to think about all throughout the process and everything like that. I try not to get my hopes up, but I don't know. It's pretty exciting. I don't know.
You were crowned recently, but But becoming homecoming queen, does that give you more of a sense of responsibility on the campus? You have to do a lot more appearances and everything.
Yes, they just now started, since they added a king to it as well. They are trying to get us to be more involved on campus, showing up to more events along with, like, say, spring fling perhaps, and along with the homecoming, celebration of lights. We'll probably stop in at those little places and say our little visit and support and stuff like that. But that way we're trying not to just keep it just for homecoming, since we're representatives of SAU, so we're going to try to be in as much functions as possible throughout the year.
Right, okay. So there was a new procedure that they had to go through this year, I'm understanding. Could you elaborate on what some of the things you had to do with it?
In the past, all you had to do was be nominated by an organization. I remember when I was on it in the past, this past year, it was only my second year here, so I'm assuming it had to be second-year students or higher. I'm not real sure on that, but that's how we did it. And so, but this year we've changed it to make it a little bit more prestigious in a way. You had to have a certain GPA requirement. I believe it was a 3.0, and as well as being nominated by a particular organization. You also had to demonstrate leadership skills, community service or campus involvement, basically, and just be a quality representative for the school. And along with that, you had to go through certain interview processes. The student body just didn't pick all of a sudden just who they wanted on court and then queen. We had to go through a panel of faculty members along with other representatives and other nominees from the organizations. They also sat in there while we were interviewed by a panel. And then once you got past that round, they had thrown out some possible candidates, and they narrowed it down. And so then whenever you got past that, you were able to go through a one-on-one interview. It was a little bit longer, a little bit more intense, but it was really good. They got to know you on a more personal level. So I knew what I was really excited about was the fact that the closer we got to it, the harder I knew it was going to be, because we had such great court this year. We had come out, and so I knew that anybody that got it was just going to be a fabulous representative. So it really came down to who really, I don't know, impressed the judges, I would have to say, and stuff like that. So I was just excited about it. And so whenever that happened, the student body just decided to vote on a queen, and we found out on Monday. So I was pumped. I was excited. I was a little in awe. I don't know, it's really exciting. I don't know, you just look around and you think that some of the stuff that you do on campus isn't seen, but apparently it is. So that's what I look forward to.
So do you think that this procedure helped you to value, help those that were in the court or whatever value becoming homecoming queen just a little bit more?
I think so, and also I don't think it's just about the queen. I remember when I got on it the year before, I was just as excited, just as busy as the queen, just as all this. And I don't think so. I think that whether you get on court or whether you get queen or not, it's still an honor. I mean, people look at you and they think of you as a role model, and so they want you to be a representative of it. They don't want somebody, just anybody. They don't want it to be a popularity contest. And so I just think they'll look at it and they'll think more highly of themselves, have more confidence and motivation. I think it brings up your self-esteem in a way a little bit. And just people notice. I mean, recently, I've seen people. I remember when I was nominated by East Hall Residential College. I was shocked because I didn't think I didn't know if they liked me or not after I was the band leader or not. I mean, I was just being myself, but I guess it worked. So I was very appreciative of it. I was really happy about it. But I noticed that whenever they look at it, I think of it as just, I don't know, it's just kind of like a blessing, just because after all the stuff that you do, people notice, and so I think it's really neat.
Right.
So you have being queen under your belt, president's ambassador, SAU, FIMU. You're also a community advisor in the village. How do you keep all of that together and also watch over the people in the village?
My favorite little thing is my best friend. It's called the little agenda book, the little planner, in the student activities office. Without it, I would be incredibly lost. Basically, it's a little hard at times, but my main thing is I love to stay busy. If I'm not busy, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not giving it my all. I'm not living the full college experience. And so I like a lot of responsibility, but you have to be able to prioritize. And if you can't do that and manage your academics, it's just because your main priority here is to get an education and grow up as a person as well. And becoming a CA has allowed me to see all sorts of different types of individuals. Because for a while then, I didn't want to really be involved in housing. I wasn't very active in the halls when I was on campus because I was so busy in my other organizations. But I've come to love it, and it's introduced me to all sorts of kind of people. It's really built my communication skills. I mean, how you talk to people is it's just that sometimes that's the first impression to some people, or that's just how they view you. You don't always want to have a negative impression on individuals, and so we try to help each other out and get everybody going. So.
Right. Okay, so you say you weren't really involved in the housing staff before, so what made you want to become a CA?
Along with you, this Angel was my first RA when I was in East Hall. She was fabulous. We did stuff when I did have time. I tried to come to as many programs as we did, and I don't know. It's just the fact that what finally made me want to become an RA or CA or whatever. I just had that opportunity. I was living off campus. I had enough hours very quickly when I got here because I came to SAU with a lot of college credit hours. I wanted to try living off campus for a while, and then when I realized after I was working, currently at the time I was working 2, sometimes 3 jobs, and I realized that was just too much. Balancing that and trying to do social life and trying to give my involvement in other organizations, it was just overloading, and it was just coming down on me too much emotionally and physically. So I wanted to move back on campus because I missed it. You don't realize it just simply by walking through the mall area. You say, I didn't get to do that anymore, just like you lived in the halls. Paying for food. I didn't have food stamps. I didn't have any of that stuff, and I felt like I was always working just to pay bills. So I wanted to move back on campus, and I figured the best way to do that while saving money as well was becoming a CA, and I thought it was a really good idea. A lot of my friends were RAs and CAs, and they thought I would be great at it, and I kept saying, I don't know. I don't know if I want to add another thing on it. I don't know if I'd be good. So I decided, you know what, just, hey, let's go for it, and I ended up getting it. So it's been fun.
That's good. Well, what do you have to do being a CA?
Advice. No, it's over at the village. It's very different. A CA is very different than being a resident assistant in the halls. There's a lot more freedom over in the village. That's the whole purpose of it, is for the individuals who are students, whether 21 or older, married, some athletes, 60 hours or more. They should be able to have a little bit more freedom, but I'm just making sure that they're doing it in a nice, protective, and peaceful way, and that they're not breaking any housing rules or anything. My main thing about being a CA are some of the little things. It's not necessarily telling people what to do. You don't want to be that type of authoritative figure. You don't want to make people upset or anything like that. You want to try to help people and give their best advice, but something as simple as changing a light bulb, or just calling Burger. Burger's my advisor, my resident director, stuff like that. The little things matter to them. So I just being able to let them do what they want as long as it's within the limits and stuff like that. So,
So since you did move back on campus, you know that we sort of have a trafficking problem. People from out of town coming in and out of the village who don't live in the village, don't even go to school here. And we're putting up the new security gate. So I know you probably think that that will bring down the crime rate, putting the security gate there. How do you know?
At first, currently it's not working at the moment. They're still working on it and everything. But at first, when I heard about it, I was like, I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but I don't know how they're really going to do that exactly. Ways to get around it and stuff like that. But I kind of see where they're coming from. It's mostly to stop those people from coming in, bringing things like drugs, alcohol, sneaking things in like that, and taking up our parking spaces that we have on campus as well. And it's just to keep the people who live in the village in the village. We don't always want to have people. Yes, it's all right for people from the halls to come visit every now and then, but loads of them, people I think assume, I'm not saying that all people, but I think most people think that they can just come from the halls or come from somewhere off campus and just go to the village and you can party. It's not like that. This year we're cutting down on it a lot. We're a lot stricter. We have a new staff over there, and so this gate will definitely help it reduce the cars, especially coming through there. Yes, you can park and go through it, around and stuff like that, and just up until then, I guess we didn't really think there was a big problem, but if you really think about it, our crime isn't all that bad. Noise level has come down too because of that. We're also, these cars that come in, they're also the ones that have the super loud music that a lot of people complain about, and we just want to try to prevent that and keep our residents happy.
Yes, gotcha. Okay, so do you feel that installing the security gate into the village will, you said it's not necessarily crime, but I mean, like,
Could be.
it could be.
It could be, but it's mostly, just, well, crime on the lines of like alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. Fighting wise isn't really the issue. We don't really have anything like that. If they're smart, they would do it off campus.
Right.
But it's stuff like that. But
you feel like for the most part it's going to decrease that?
oh yes, because that's how people get things through. I mean, they're not going to just carry it through to them. They're going to try and hide it. And
Open hand.
The best way for them to do it is by the vehicles. And so I think by putting up these gates and keeping the people who aren't supposed to be in there out as much as possible. So.
And the gate has a scanner for SAU students or SAU village.
There will be some
students.
sort of, whether it be scanner or number, I'm not sure at the moment since it's still being worked on, but it will be a way for others to not be able to get a hold of it as well. It will be just for the residents. So that's what I understand. So
Do you think that it'll be for strictly the people that live in the village, or will it be SAU students overall? Or
I believe I believe it would be for the people who live in the village. Otherwise, that's why all those people say from other halls that might be coming over there, there's no point for them to have it. I mean, they didn't pay to live in the village. They shouldn't have to have a code to get through there unless they're visiting people. If you have a visitor, if you're a resident of the village, then you can take the initiative to come to greet them, and they're your visitors, so they shouldn't always have to be able to. So in my opinion, I don't think they should be able to have a code or anything like that. So.
Okay, but it won't restrict people from coming to the village.
Right, they can still come. There are ways to, you can come right through, you can walk right on through. It's your vehicle. Everything else like that needs to stay away, just so that we can reduce anything that shouldn't be in there. Keep that out.
Right. There has also been talk within the students about standing in front of the buildings and talking and loitering and things such as that. What is your intake on that and how the gate will?
Well, when people, for instance, as a President's Ambassador, when I am taking people on tours, I do not want to have to show potential students coming through the village the trash on the sidewalks. Also, cigarettes everywhere from people smoking and standing out there, or just people just making it feel like it's not an inviting place. Because that's what my duty is as a President Ambassador and a CA. I'm supposed to be able to sell the village to that person, and so I don't want to be able to have to come up to somebody and feel like they're just standing around. It's okay if you see a friend. Like, I know what I do that when I'm on duty. Sometimes I'll run into a friend, I'll say hi and stuff like that. It's nothing like that. It's when you don't have anything to do and you start standing around and you start getting bored and you start trying to find stuff to do that you probably shouldn't be doing. It's stuff like that. And it's also safety reasons as well. So that's why we try to reduce that, and it also helps, like I said, with the littering and stuff like that. So
Okay, so you speak about the trash and loitering as selling the village and things like that. What are some other things that you guys have done to be able to promote the village and make it look more presentable?
We have, like I said, we just got a new staff, and we actually work really well together. We can be friendly as long as you keep us in a good mood, but yet we're also strict. We do our job, and we really feel that people will respect us for that more, especially since we have a lot of friends over there. I know it's hard for other people to appreciate that and respect that, since that's our responsibility and our job. But the way we were able to sell that more is just by simply telling them, hey, if you don't have anything to do, just go inside, stuff like that. And one of the main things is that we try to really execute the rules really well. When we say, hey, we're going to warn you, we're going to write it down. We're not just we're not going to say it. We're actually going to do what we say we're going to do. If we see that there's alcohol in the village, we're going to let people know. We're going to get rid of it. And if we see trash or anything like that, we don't want you here. We want to keep the campus beautiful. We want to do all this stuff like that. And so we're really cutting down on especially the littering, since it has been so upsetting in the past. But this year it's been really great. We also have help along with we have a student who actually comes in, and as his job, he also helps pick up as well, so any excess trash. But I know personally, since as a student here, I wasn't a resident. Like I said, I was in several different halls before I moved off campus.
Right.
But I remember hearing, the villages, it's trashy, it's all that. It's changed. So I really think it has changed, and I know I haven't been there in the past, but I can actually see the improvements of it as well. So
That's good. So village residents have a declining balance on their student ID cards. But there have also been complaints about the prices in the Village C-store rising, doubling almost, because you could get one of those like banquet meals for about $1 at Walmart, but in the village they're about $3.99 or something like that. So how do you feel about that? You know, prices rising and everything.
Well, I try not to worry about it until I get really low on my declining balance. It's not a big deal until you get really low, but I don't know. I just don't really think about it all that much. I know it's unfortunate, probably because if I wanted to, I could go to Walmart and do all that because I have a vehicle. As for those students who don't have a vehicle, that are international students and stuff like that, they just can't drive anywhere, and I kind of take that to
consideration.
I'm trying to think about that too, but yes, it is a little upsetting at times too. It's same for the cafeteria prices as well. They've gone up a little bit as well, but it's hard because I know not everybody works, and a lot of people have to pay student loans as well. But you know, it's just something we got to deal with.
Yeah. Well, on a brighter note, back to your little homecoming stuff. Okay, so what all do you have to do for homecoming? Like
everything. Everything. No, it's good. As if you haven't been able to tell, I may look a little tired or anything like that, just because last night we had street painting, along with a dinner I also had to go to, but that was for President's Ambassadors. And so I went to that, and I went to street painting, and then I slept for probably about 2.5 hours. And I got a call to come to the it was at daybreak early this morning at like 5. And so I couldn't go back to bed, so I decided to stay up, and then we'll have more dinners tonight. Actually, we'll be presented at the Distinguished Alumni Dinner here tonight at 6 o'clock. And then also tomorrow we'll be involved in the parade, the breakfast. There'll be an alumni breakfast well before the parade, so we're just going to get a lot of sleep tonight. And after that, it'll be the parade. We'll have a mule gating reception. They're actually doing it a little bit differently this year, which I think is really nice. I remember last year when I was on court, we were rushing back and forth, changing clothes. I remember I was wearing 4 outfits on Saturday, all before the game, and just switching out, trying to get comfortable for a sec, hanging out with friends and family, stuff like that in between everything. We weren't really able to eat anything, actually sit down. Now they were actually going to provide us with a mule gating reception, so at the Welcome Center, so we'll actually be able to sit down. We'll still be kind of in our suits, but it'll be a lot better. We'll actually have a tent area, so it's going to be a little bit nicer, and then we'll also have the court presentation. But earlier this week we were also able to, like this morning I was able to start the heartbeat, and earlier we were also able to work on other things throughout the week along with the coronation that night, and we were able to take some pictures together. So we were able to get involved in several different things on campus too as well, along with that special daybreak interview. So
talk about your experience with daybreak. Was that fun?
Yeah, it was lovely. In between takes, they did it earlier at the last. They did it in the later takes actually, and we had to introduce ourselves just one by one down to the end. And so they asked us traditional questions, you know, just like what kind of responsibilities we're going to do, because I really didn't know quite off the top of my head because I've never done this before. So but they do say that we want to get involved more on campus and stuff like that. And so they talked about the parade with us this weekend and mule gating. So it went really well. I thought I was just a little sleepy, but it's okay. You kind of have to do that at times. You just kind of have to suck it up and
just do it.
Try to, you know, it was a great time. It was. It's just I could have used some sleep. That's the only thing.
But you enjoyed it.
Yes, I did.
That's all that matters.
It's sad it's coming to an end, but it's gone by really quickly. But I've been really happy though that I remember last year I've got just bombarded with tests that week and just a lot of homework, and this week it really hasn't been all that bad, so that's a big plus. So it'll all come next week.
Yes, that's exciting. And let's see, it was going to be on Channel 7, right? The daybreak is going to be on Channel 7. That's exciting.
So I had to call my mom.
Of course.
I have to call my mom about everything, or she'll call me.
Right.
They call me. Like earlier today after one of the, oh gosh, I think it was right after the heartbeat, my dad called me and he was like, I'm just checking up on things. How are you doing? And I'm just like, oh gosh, I'll see you later, Dad. But he's just, I'm glad he cares though. He's just calling in and checking on me, but he'll be there tomorrow and walking me down.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Well, we wish you the best of luck in your homecoming queen, your CA, your FIMU, and everything else that you're involved in. You busy woman.
Adds up.
And I'm Angel Williams.
And I'm Jessica Ellison.
And we thank you so much for the SAU report.